Before we dive into today's story, make sure to subscribe. If you've ever held history in your hands or wondered if something from your past might be worth a small fortune, this is exactly the kind of journey you don't want to miss. Go ahead, hit that button and join the community of collectors, historians, and those who know that value isn't always just about money. Sometimes it's about memory. Now let's begin. Some coins are just coins, metal, minted and forgotten. But then there are others, the rare ones, the ones with a story that cuts through time, wrapped in the dust of politics, economics, and identity. Today, we're going back to a time when South Africa was standing at the edge of dramatic change, 1990, the year of shifts, shocks, and something quietly powerful, the minting of the 2 Rand coin that would come to mean far more than its face value. Let me take you there. It was a time of tension and hope. Nelson Mandela was released from prison after 27 years. The apartheid system was beginning to crumble under the weight of international pressure and internal resistance. The country was changing, and as always, money, the coins in people's pockets, was silently witnessing every moment. The 1992 Rand coin wasn't the first of its kind, but it stood at a unique crossroads in South Africa's history. It carried with it the face of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial administrator who has long been a symbol of European arrival in southern Africa. His image had been used before, but by 1990, it no longer meant the same thing it once did. This coin represented the last breath of an old order, minted at the end of an era and just before a new dawn. At a glance, it looked ordinary, silver-colored, slightly heavy in the palm, the kind of coin you might toss into your glove compartment or lose between the couch cushions. But for those who understand coins, it wasn't ordinary at all. What made it special? First, the mintage was limited. South Africa didn't produce large numbers of the 1992 Rand, especially not in uncirculated or proof condition. Many coins from that era were lost, spent, melted down, or simply worn away in the day-to-day rhythm of life. Very few remain today in excellent condition, and even fewer in pristine, untouched state. Second, the materials. This coin wasn't made with cheap, throwaway metal. The alloy used gave it not only strength but a shine that, under the right light, still glimmers with a sense of authority. For collectors, metal composition is everything. And when a coin stands the test of time without corrosion, without fading, that's when ears perk up. But let's go deeper. Beyond the physical and historical, there's the emotional. If you were living in or connected to South Africa in 1990, you remember the feeling, the uncertainty, the tension, the hope. Holding a coin from that year is like holding a snapshot of history. And the 2 Rand was part of everyday life. Buying bread, paying for transport, given as change, slipped into a child's piggy bank. It's more than just a collector's item. It's a symbol of a nation on the edge. That's why today, more than 30 years later, this coin is not just a collector's prize. It's a story frozen in time. And stories? Well, the best ones get more valuable with age. Now, you might be wondering, what's it really worth? Let me be clear. Not every 2 Rand coin from 1990 is going to fetch a fortune. Many were used and abused, and they're worth only a little more than their face value. But every now and then, a gem emerges. A coin kept safe in a drawer, uncirculated, protected, a proof strike with crisp details and mirror-like finish. That's when the numbers start to climb. Recently, the right kind of 1992 Rand coin, graded, authenticated, and preserved in excellent condition, has made waves in the collector market. Serious collectors and investors are watching these pieces with growing interest. Why? Because history is hot, because supply is low, because meaning matters, and because rare coins like this don't just carry metal, they carry memory. This is where things get interesting. When supply is tight and demand rises, prices surge. Auction houses have seen strong bidding wars over these coins, especially among collectors who lived through the era or who collect coins tied to transitional periods in history. And it makes sense. This isn't just currency, it's conversation. It's legacy. It's an heirloom, which brings us to the part you've been waiting for. One such 1992 Rand coin, properly graded, in near-perfect condition, with provenance and market demand backing it, has been valued at up to 29,500 US dollars. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $30,000 for a coin that might once have bought a loaf of bread. That's the power of rarity. That's the power of time. Now ask yourself, do you have one? Maybe in an old box, a jar on a shelf. Maybe your father kept one, or your grandfather. These coins were part of the everyday world not that long ago. But their value? That has changed completely. So before you dismiss those old coins gathering dust in the attic or lying forgotten in a drawer, take a closer look. You might just be holding history. You might just be holding a treasure. And remember, the past isn't as far away as it seems. Sometimes, it fits right in the palm of your hand. Subscribe now if you haven't already. This is just one of many stories waiting to be uncovered. What's hiding in your collection? What stories are your coins trying to tell? Keep watching. Keep discovering. And never underestimate the value of something that has stood the test of time.